A very good evening to you all. Thank you for joining us for the UBC News tonight. My name is Wadulo, Arnold Wadulo, and on sign language we have Yusuf Senyomo. Without further ado, let's get straight into the headlines and then get into the bulletin. FRA arrests one of its staff members for allegedly receiving over 200 million shillings as bribe. Chief of Defense Forces General Muhoozi attends Gabon's 66th Independence Anniversary celebrations. And Gulu City to host the 18th Interforces Games and Shooting Championship. Thank you for joining us this 17th day of August 2026. In the first story, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has revealed that the move by the NRM government to restore cultural institutions in Uganda was to promote cultural pride and heritage. The president's message was contained in a speech read by the second Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Crispus Kiyonga, at the 18th coronation anniversary of the Isabanyala in Bale, Kayunga district. The function began with cultural norms and jubilant subjects waving at the Isabanyala before he performed some rituals, including sounding the royal drum. UBC has the highlights.
President Museveni in his message says that the NRM government restored culture and traditional institutions in the country to preserve culture and heritage for the current and future generations. The president congratulated the people of Bunyala upon this milestone and supporting the institution of the Banyala. In his message delivered in local language Lunyala, the Isabanyala retired Major Beka Chimeze Mpaji Byarufu II thanked President Yoweri Museveni for the support he accords to cultural institutions and promised to spearhead wealth creation operations in Bunyala. The Kenyan High Commissioner to Uganda, Ambassador Ababu Namwamba, who also graced the coronation anniversary, congratulated Isabanyala upon this achievement and emphasized the importance of culture. The chairperson of Uganda Kings and Cultural Leaders Forum, His Majesty Issa Baruli Constantine Mwogezi Butamanya, the cultural leader of the Buruli Chiefdom, appealed to the president to gazette the remaining cultural institutions in Uganda. This year's coronation anniversary was marked under the theme, My Culture, My Identity, a Collective Responsibility, as characterized by traditional dances and entertainment.
And in more news, the Bishop Dr. Ladonna Osborne, a renowned evangelist and leader of Osborne Ministries International, has arrived in Uganda ahead of the consecration of Pastor Patience Rabogo as a bishop, and this consecration service is set for the 23rd of August 2026 at the Covenant Nations Church in Maya. Bishop Ladonna has been in active service for over 50 years. UBC has more details on the story.
Bishop Ladonna Osborne, a renowned international evangelist who has ministered and ordained leaders in over 50 countries, is in the country. Bishop Ladonna jetted in this afternoon ahead of the consecration of Pastor Patience Rabogo as bishop, scheduled for the 23rd of this month in Maya.
We do not take it lightly, her presence here. We really honor the grace of God on her life. We honor the anointing on her life, the anointing to shift people, communities, nations to the next level. The Bible says if you receive a prophet, you receive a prophet's reward. So we welcome Bishop Ladonna as a prophet to the nations and to Uganda, and we're expectant about what God is going to do.
She describes Bishop-elect Patience Rabogo as a leader with a special spiritual anointing, deep devotion for Christ, and a passion for serving the nation and beyond.
What I saw in her and continue to see is a devotion to Christ, a prayer life. She does nothing, says nothing before she prays. So if she ever seems slow of action, it's because she's waiting to hear from God. That's a trait that you can trust in a person like this. I have seen humility. I have seen her devotion, her love for not only Uganda, of course her nation, but beyond. That's God's heart. If we only care about one people group, that's okay, but that's immature.
Pastor Patience Rawogo, the bishop-elect, also pastor of Covenant Nations Church, says the new responsibility calls her to a higher level of service to the church and the nation.
And I believe this consecration, and the same with Pastor Joy, is the empowering to go to nations. I think that that's not the work of man. I don't think it's about your ability or about your skill. It's a work of the Spirit. And so I believe that the prayer, the anointing, the impartation is to empower us as a church and as leaders to be able to take the gospel to the nations.
Pastor Patience Rawogo, who is also a first daughter, shares Osborne's passion for empowering young women to become leaders and contribute to building a greater nation.
God created Adam and Eve, male and female. He blessed both of them. He talked to both of them. He gave them instructions to fruit, multiply, and have dominion.
And somehow God was not deterred by me being a woman and a wife and a mother. So I think God sees us as people, and we shouldn't put each other we shouldn't put people in those categories. It's unfortunate that we see people in that way. So for us, we will continue to mentor young people and see the gifts and callings on their lives and try to nurture them, whether they are young men or young women.
The consecration of Pastor Patience Rawogo as bishop is scheduled for August 23rd at Covenant Hill in Maya, Wakiso District. Cayenne Faith reporting for UBC.
And in more UBC news tonight, the Human Rights Commission has failed to account for about 70 million shillings spent on procurement of furniture. While appearing before the Parliamentary Committee on Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises to answer to audit findings, the committee questioned the way the Commission diverted 70.4 million shillings meant for expanding office space into procurement without proper approval and authorization. We have more details.
Human Rights Commission, led by their chairperson, Mariam Wangadia, have appeared before the Parliamentary Committee on Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises to respond to audit queries for the financial year ended 30th June 2025.
Director of Finance and Head of Procurement to respond to that.
The committee chaired by Mwadanku Nyinji discovered how the Commission diverted money into procurement.
The accounting officer at the time deemed it necessary not to partition the building we were renting at Rumi and decided to use money for partitioning to buy furniture.
The Auditor General noted how Human Rights Commission used 70.4 million shillings into procurement of furniture. When asked to defend the query, the Commission had no clear responses.
Did you verify the receipt of the furniture?
Thank you, Chair. The furniture was bought.
And you verified, okay?
For us, we don't verify, but we look at the documents.
No. The document is a different thing, and the physical is a different thing. Did you see the furniture?
I saw the furniture, Chair.
Are you saying you only saw documents, you didn't do physical inspection?
The report also indicates how this procurement lacked relevant approvals from authorities. The Commission, however, pinned its recent secretary to the Commission, Margaret Ejang, saying she authorized the procurement. The committee has now summoned Margaret Ejang to come and provide full documentations to the procurement.
We can't just receive chorus answers that furniture was procured, it was so beautiful, you can even come and look at it. We are interrogating an anomaly. Money was spent without approval and authorization, and require that the former accounting officer appear here physically to explain and substantiate for us this anomaly.
The committee also interested itself in finding out on the engagements concerning the wrangles in the Commission.
Us as commissioners, we are in the process of speaking every day because we are always together.
Yes.
Yes, and as to the mediator, we await for him to give us time. But we shall, if you will allow us to conclude, and then we can brief you.
The committee is to meet the Commission Monday next week to give a conclusive report on the audit findings. Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
The National Social Security Fund says that negotiating with businessman Amos Nzei is one of the options that they could consider to resolve the Temangalo land saga. The NSSF Managing Director Patrick Ayota informed Parliament that the fund is yet to recover the controversial 55 acres of land from Amos Nzei. Peter Kabasi, the lawyer representing Amos Nzei, showed no objection, but questioned why the Parliamentary Committee on COSASE initiated the investigations despite a procurement by the arbitration court.
The controversial Temangalo land saga is far from its conclusion, as the main parties remain trapped in the hide-and-seek game. For close to 2 decades, businessman Amos Nzei remains settled on part of the land despite receiving full payment from the National Social Security Fund.
Now, that's why we are kind of taking it up now. The last time that we got is sent that a letter of ultimatum with basically intent to go to court and get the orders to evict Mr. Nzei. That is still on the table.
It is alleged that businessman Amos Nzei initially agreed with NSSF to transfer 463.87 out of 570 acres of land. However, NSSF acquired 100% of the land. This called for a dispute which ended through an arbitration award for NSSF to claim for extra 55 acres.
Initially there was 104, then that was reduced to 55. On the land that he had given us to look at the survey that was done, only 10 acres were found to be suitable, which then would have netted 45. But we've not even transferred those 10 acres to the fund as yet.
So the alternative we gave you is still in his name?
Because that was a separate title from what we had.
It is separate from the title
Yes.
you have?
Mm-hmm.
My understanding of it is that NSSF refused to implement the arbitral award in detail.
So the arbitration was to the effect that the best, and these were the arbitrators in the award, the best way out between the parties was to execute the memorandum by way of a swap. That's where NSF would then get the 55 acres, and Nzei would provide, and this is where Nzei was supposed to provide similar acreage.
In 2008, NSSF purchased the land at about 11.2 billion shillings at 24 million shillings per acre. The 99.2 acres connected to Ama Limited Company, which former Prime Minister Amama Mbabazi was the director, has been exonerated as not among the disputed land. The MPs on COSASE explored various options of ending this long-standing dispute, including issuing eviction notice and negotiations, since businessman Amos Nzei is not ready to quit the disputed land.
Because if he does that, where will he live? Huh?
Both parties, including NSSF MD Patrick Ayota, had no objection to the negotiations despite the question of the current value of the land. What has remained unclear to the COSASE committee are the documents, including the various sale agreements and the final arbitration award as ruled by the court.
Because I know these lawyers, those going to represent NSSF to be able to recover this 55, you may find they are taking maybe $1 billion or whatever amount. And yet this 100 acres, you can find you agree maybe 10 million per acre or 15, whichever it is, since it may not be very accessible land, you find you are spending maybe 1.5 billion or 2 billion to acquire the balance, and you close this matter.
At the end of the day, we approach what's going to be the best thing for the fund. Now, if the proposals that are coming from Nzei are reasonable and can be attained, can still put us in that place we want to be, we sure enough will consider it. There's no point in walking away from that deal until we know the details of it. But that's really the first time that something very solid has come as an alternative to maybe that land.
What has remained unclear to the COSASE committee are the documents, including the various sale agreements and the final arbitration award as ruled by the court. Lawyer Peter Kabasi has pledged to inform his boss of the committee demands and report back to Parliament.
That he's prepared to return the money of the land they don't want, although they have it now. Or he can even sell them, all his land, including his home, at market price, so that he gets out of Temangalo altogether.
One of the documents we need is the arbitral award. Now, we want to be certain that we are moving right by looking at what court has pronounced itself on.
Last week, the COSASE committee visited the locus but failed to access the disputed land due to heavy security, among other challenges. Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
Thank you very much, Daniel Mugoya, and that's a story that will be developing, so keep up with UBC News tonight. Now, the fight against corruption continues as URA arrests one of its members for allegedly receiving $60,000 to influence an audit report. The accused, Sozi Geoffrey, was paraded before the press at the URA headquarters in Kampala. Let's take a look.
Uganda Revenue Authority has arrested its member of staff who serves as manager external operations customs in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, over allegations of corruption. Sozi Geoffrey is accused of illicitly receiving a bribe of $60,000.
So the money is here,
equivalent to about 220 million Uganda shillings.
So they had originally asked for $100,000, but then they bargained down to $60,000.
I was made to make statements, and I stated what I knew as a truth, which was all rejected.
According to URA, its investigation team acted on a tip-off from a whistleblower and tracked Sozi to an undisclosed restaurant in Kampala, where he was allegedly caught receiving the money.
In the evening, we're talking like at 9 p.m. approximately. The client was waiting from like 7:30, unknown to the URA staff. They were being trailed. And after money was exchanged, the $60,000, that's when the gentleman was arrested.
However, Sozi has denied having had knowledge about the money.
I just picked, I think subconsciously, and honestly, I just picked it. When I go to restaurants, sometimes you can request for a takeaway, you can request for if you have leftovers, you can request for a takeaway. And I told them that I can assure you this, I thought maybe it is a friendly gift, because these taxpayers gave us a friendly gift.
While the Uganda Revenue Authority has not given details about the company in question that delivered $60,000 to its member of staff, Robert Karumba, the URA spokesperson, has given reasons as to why any company would exchange bribes with its staff, and one of the reasons is to influence audits.
The company is most taxpayers out there, I think because of trying to evade taxes, or fear, I don't know. They normally think that by bypassing procedure, they can get away.
Sozi and his alleged accomplices will be taken to court to face charges. Others are still at large. Meanwhile, Uganda Revenue Authority plans to procure more fleet to strengthen its enforcement efforts against corruption nationwide.
One, to equip our intelligence team with all the necessary support. What do I mean? Gadgets, infiltration. We have actually recently bought boats to help us patrol the lakes. Number three, we're also in the process of purchasing drones to also help us in the fight against corruption.
More than 150 URA officers have reportedly been suspended from service over allegations of corruption.
And in more news, the Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, is in the Gabonese capital for the country's 66th independence anniversary celebrations. General Kainerugaba is attending the August 17th celebrations at the invitation of Gabonese President Brice Clotaire Oligui Nguema, who also serves as the country's Supreme Commander of Defense and Security Forces. The pictures you're seeing are highlights from the event. And that takes us for a short commercial break. When we return, we'll be back with more UBC news. Do not go far.
And that's it for today. Till the next episode.
Like a daily bando, like a daily bando, like a daily bando. Omuliro nguwulira muli mu mutima kukankana like drums. Kalakata, kalakata, enendungu ya kusabula. Mikono juu, free of fire, free of fire, free of fire.
We don't need anyone's permission to move forward. What we need is the power to do it our way. Spiro is not your typical EV company. It's the power grid for African ambition. A network that connects Nairobi to Kigali, Lagos to Lome, Dar to Kampala. Not with cables and wires, but with clean, quiet, relentless movement. This is Africa, powered by us.
My name is Bernadette Nambika-Ruhanga. I'm the director of the National Curriculum Development Center. I'm inviting you all to the second International Curriculum Conference that is due to take place on the 20th and 21st of August 2026 at Speak Resort Mnyonyo. And we shall be discussing matters related to a globalized future in as far as curriculum is concerned.
In Uganda, mornings don't begin with sunrise. They begin with courage. One man, one factory that has refused to stay silent. With one spark of courage, a chain of prosperity begins. When one Ugandan stands up, the nation moves. Pearl Bank. Grow. Prosper.
Attention! The Office of the Prime Minister warns of possible El Nino rains during the September to December 2026 rainy season. This may bring above normal rainfall, increasing risks of floods, landslides, damage to infrastructure, disease outbreaks, and loss of livelihoods. High-risk areas include flood-prone lowlands, urban centers with poor drainage, river catchments, wetlands, and mountainous regions. The public is advised to keep drainage channels clear. Avoid settling or farming in high-risk areas. Never cross flooded roads, bridges, or rivers. Avoid sheltering under trees during thunderstorms. Ensure children are accompanied to and from school. Store food and seeds on raised platforms. Move livestock to higher ground. Prepare emergency supplies including safe water, food and medicines. Stay alert to weather forecasts and early warnings, and evacuate early when advised. This message is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Alright, listen up. Colgate is on a mission.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth.
Colgate Charcoal Gentle Clean cleans and polishes teeth for a whiter smile and a naturally fresh and clean mouth. Choose natural. Choose Colgate Charcoal.
Step into elegance. Step into confidence. Step into La Vie Boutique.
located at Grand Imperial Hotel, Shop 6 and 8, right behind Bank of Uganda. La Vie Boutique brings you high-class corporate and casual wear for men. From sharp designer suits and crisp shirts to stylish casual t-shirts, tracksuits, shoes and accessories, we've got everything to make you stand out. Call us on 0772 419 181 or 0705 555 558. La Vie Boutique, where class meets style.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, MEMD, warns the public that fraudsters using fake social media accounts to solicit money while falsely claiming they can secure licenses, appointments with the Honourable Minister, or influence ministry decisions. Please note, you do not pay to meet the Honourable Minister or any Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development officials. Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development has not authorized anyone to collect money on its behalf. All Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development services are free of charge, except for statutory fees provided for by the law. Verify any communication by contacting info@energy.go.ug. Report any suspected fraud to the Ministry and the relevant law enforcement.
Every life begins in a moment like this. Certain, planned, full of promise. For us, it's a bold ambition to make lives better. Because somewhere, someone is stepping into a world of work for the first time with the confidence that their retirement is taken care of. We make dreams possible. From owning homes to scaling businesses. And when health takes an unexpected turn, help is there when it's needed most. And because legacies matter, what people build does not end with them. It's passed on. We value moments with go-getters, bold dreamers and believers. Different paths, different rhythms, with one shared belief that financial freedom is within reach. For 40 years, we've made lives better and fueled Uganda's economy. Through careful investment, we have supported businesses, created jobs, and backed our nation. To us, it's more than saving. It's believing in effort, in patience, in possibility. It's making lives better. We believe in you, in us, and in Uganda.
NSSF, 40 years of making lives better.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. We now take you into the world of business. The year 2031 may appear distant on the calendar, but for the East African community, the journey towards a single currency is already pressing against time. Bank of Uganda Governor Dr. Michael Atingi Ego says that the deadline could prove both too close and too far, depending on how quickly member states meet the required economic convergence targets. Dennis Igua reports.
East African Community member states have set 2031 as the target for achieving a monetary union, a major step towards deeper regional integration. But while the vision is clear, the road to one currency is far from straightforward. For Bank of Uganda Governor Dr. Michael Atingi Ego, the biggest question is whether all member states can move at the same speed in meeting the macroeconomic conditions required for monetary union.
It's all linked to Dennis. Single currency 2031. This single currency is achievable if we can meet the convergence criteria. But of course, the convergence criteria is facing challenges in that we are not all evolving to the convergence at the same rate. Some countries are lagging behind. Then also, the recent global environment is affecting the speed at which we are realizing the convergence variables as required. And for a single currency to be meaningful, you need to have converged. Now,
at the recent meeting of EAC Central Bank governors in Kampala, the region's monetary authorities expressed optimism that the dream of a single currency remains achievable.
Fellow governors, regarding the East African Monetary Union convergence criteria, I wish to note that Kenya continues to meet the convergence criteria on inflation and foreign exchange reserves.
Honorable Governors, beyond maintaining domestic macroeconomic stability, the National Bank of Rwanda remains fully committed to the objectives of this committee and to the broader East African Monetary Union agenda.
While partner states are at the different stages of convergence, South Sudan reaffirms its commitment to the EAC integration agenda and the successful establishment of the East African Monetary Union by 2031.
Yet beneath the optimism lies a practical challenge. Economies within the bloc are moving at different speeds. Governor Ego argues that instead of allowing the entire region to wait for every country to be ready, the community could consider a variable geometry approach.
There is what economists called, I think, geometric conversion, variable geometry, correct, variable geometry. If any two countries are ready and they've met the criteria, they can begin with the single currency.
The East African Monetary Union Protocol was signed on 30th of November 2013 in accordance with the EAC Treaty. Its broader goal is to deepen economic integration, boost trade and investment, and ultimately support sustainable economic development across the community. Dennis Igor for UBC.
And on the continental scene, Zambia's president Hakainde Hichilema is in the lead in the country's general election as vote counting continues. With 71% of constituencies announcing their counts on Monday, Hichilema was reported to have won nearly 62% of the vote, up from 59% on Sunday, and that is according to the South African country's Electoral Commission. And in the world of sports, Gulu City is set to come alive as the Uganda People's Defence Forces' 4th Division hosts the 18th Inter-Forces Games and Shooting Championship under the theme Building Synergy Through Sports. The championship aims to enhance fitness, discipline and operational readiness among the forces while also strengthening inter-agency cooperation. Let's have a look.
The Uganda People's Defence Forces will host the 18th edition of the Inter-Forces Games and Shooting Range in Gulu City.
The UPDF will host the Games and Shooting Championship this year, but also actively participate in all the games and shooting championships alongside Uganda Police Force, Uganda Prison Services, Uganda Prison Service, and the Uganda Wildlife Authority.
There is more that we do that we do together as the forces. For example, the security of the parks. You know, we work together with the UPDF, work with the police, work with the prisons. So there is more than we do beyond sporting. Sporting only comes into cement.
The exercise seeks to enhance fitness, discipline and improve operational readiness among the forces. The organizers of the event believe the games will also strengthen inter-agency cooperation and comradeship among the security bodies and promote civil-military relations.
Operational readiness, that's among the security forces of the Republic of Uganda, strengthening inter-agency cooperation among the security forces, but also importantly is promoting civil-military cooperation, but also enhancing or promoting health, while reducing stress among the security forces.
The two-week event will bring together teams from the UPDF, Uganda Police Force, Uganda Prison Service and Uganda Wildlife Authority to compete in various disciplines.
Include netball for women, there will be football for men, volleyball for men, and handball for men. Whereas we shall also have athletics, which will be for both men and women, taekwondo, similarly for men and women, darts, men and women, and the range shooting for men and women. Opening ceremony will be on the 24th of August, 2026 at St. Joseph's College, Laibi, this in Gulu City.
The opening ceremony is on Monday 24th August at St. Joseph's College, Laibi, Gulu. Irene Faith Nantongo, Haruna Mtesa Sira, UBC News.
Now, of course, for a country whose forte is peace and security, these games are something to look out for. And of course, we'll also be giving you a more comprehensive report in our 10 o'clock bulletin. Otherwise, right about now, allow us shift you over to the front bench with Sandra Kahunde, right about now in studio, ready to share with us what the nation is having for us. Sandra, over to you.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you so much for the great newscast you had there for the viewer who is following the national broadcaster. My name is Sandra Kahunde, like he has rightly put it, and I'm happy to be here to serve the nation. We're coming to you live from Broadcast House, Nala Avenue, and I'm sitting in for Jethro. Well, we turn our focus tonight as far as the front bench is concerned. We're going to be talking more to do with the energy sector, how we stand as a nation as far as Uganda is concerned, knowing that